Hello, hello, and welcome back. It's so nice to be with you, and thank you for sharing your time with me. Today, we're going to be diving into the March Akashic forecast. And this video is going to be a little bit different simply because when I sat down to channel the March Akashic forecast, I completely forgot to record myself doing so. If you saw some of my earlier videos from this year, I am just kind of starting to show up to YouTube on a consistent basis. You're going to see me here a lot moving forward. But the point being, like, my business is kind of in flux, it's in process, and I'm like shifting things and starting to record myself more, and I forget. But nonetheless, we will be diving into the March Akashic forecast message today. And then I'm going to spend some time breaking it down for you and just kind of sharing what the experience was like, what some of the things that were coming through. And I can't wait to see how this resonates with you. So, if you're brand new to my channel, thank you so much for being here. Hello. Hi, my name is Anna Hendricks. I'm a spiritual guide, Akashic Record soul channel and teacher and host of the Soul Driven podcast. And I have been channeling through monthly Akashic forecast messages since the fall of 2020. So if you want more of this, you can dive into my anywhere you listen to podcasts and pull those messages up, because there's a couple of things about channeled messages that are important to know. First and foremost, time is a human construct. It does not exist. So if you were pulled to this video, or you're pulled to another video, maybe from years prior, it's because there's something important there for you to hear. And I encourage you to dive in and to listen to it. And the second thing is that whenever you hear someone channel a message, it opens up your own channel. And so, even in the midst of me breaking down this message and sharing with you how it came through to me, it may resonate with you very differently. And that is beautifully aligned. And I encourage you to sit with that and to trust that. If you are curious about learning more about the Akashic Records, then make sure to subscribe, because it's going to be all Akashic Records up in here. Intuition, spiritual living. I am a very grounded person, and I consider myself to be equally spiritual as I am grounded. I love the unicorns and butterflies, but the way that I see it is, if it's not changing your life, then what is the point? We have a finite amount of time. And I don't know about you, but I want to make the most of mine. So let's talk about the March Akashic forecast. So, as I mentioned, I completely forgot to record myself. So bear with me, because I will be doing that moving forward. So we're going to dive into that message. I'm going to share it with you, and then we'll be breaking it down. I have to tell you, just on the front end, that obviously, because I've been channeling these monthly Akashic messages for so long, I've seen such a wide variety of messages, monthly forecasts, and I, there's something really, really special about this message, and something really, really special about March. February was one of the most difficult months of 2026. And I am a trained astrologist as well. That's one of the modalities I have underneath my belt. But you've probably heard other astrologers talking about this. We're still in an eclipse portal. We're in the midst of a Mercury retrograde. Like, there are so many different things that are going on. And February was really, really meant to shake things up. Our February Akashic forecast theme was fire rises. And, it's not like we hadn't seen the fire before. It's not like we didn't know it was there. But February made it abundantly clear that this fire has been lit, that it is spreading, and that things are going through process. In fact, we are in process as a collective, and we'll be moving forward. As much as you don't like it, as much as you're upset about it, all of those things, the bottom line is everything that we're going through right now is serving a purpose. And when Pluto moved into Aquarius, and Aquarius rules the collective, Pluto, whenever it moves into another sign, its first job is to unearth the shadow. And you better believe that humanity has enormous shadow. We are all light and dark, right, wrong, yes, no, this, that. We're all of it. And to put yourself in one little camp is, neglecting the fact that you're human and you're fallible. And given the right circumstance, you might be different than you consider yourself to be. I have certainly learned this in my life at 44 years old. There were things that I did in my life that I had said, oh, I'll never do that thing. And then I ended up doing that thing. We're fallible. Right now, what we're going through collectively is horrific. And there's no excuse for it. And there's no justification for it. And I personally have been quite heartbroken over the past several months. Yet at the same time, because of the Akashic Records and the perspective that I am privy to through the Akashic Records, I can see things from a much higher perspective, and I can understand why these things are taking place. And I'm so thankful for that, because quite frankly, it would be very hard for me to get out of bed if I wasn't. My energy is plugged into the collective. I came into this lifetime to assist the collective through this time. And I can't do that if I'm not taking care of myself. And I can't do that. I wouldn't be able to do that if I didn't have the Akashic Records to assist me in moving through this time. So I love sharing these forecast messages with you. And, the way that I look at a forecast message, whether it is astrology or a psychic message or the Akashic Records, is that it's enabling us to prepare for what is coming. So even when it is like a tough message to hear, I appreciate it, because it's like, okay, like the astrology is going to be really intense this week. So therefore, I need to go to bed earlier. I need to make sure and exercise. I need to prepare ahead of time and get my mind straight, so that I am spending less time reacting to life and more time acting and creating in life. And I encourage you to do the same. So the March Akashic forecast message, what is so incredible about it is how personal it is. It's probably the most, or one of, top two most personal messages that I've ever channeled through. And it just kind of blew me away and let me see that this month, I'm getting a little bit teary just thinking about it. Like this month is a month for you. This month is, it's going to be a powerful month. And I hope that you come back to this message if you get lost, or you need to be recentered, or if you need to be reminded, because I'll tell you what, when you come back to an Akashic message, even if you've listened to it so many times, there's going to be something there for you, because again, it activates your own channel. And when you follow what you're drawn to, it's because there's a reason there. So trust yourself, trust your intuition, and utilize this message because it is beautiful. Okay. So I'm going to open up the Akashic Records real quick, and then I'm going to read to you the March Akashic forecast, which again, I won't be doing moving forward, fingers crossed, because I'll remember to record myself. Still getting in the habit. Okay. But it is such a beautiful message. All right. So give me just a moment here. I'm going to take a sip of water. Being hydrated is very important when working in the spiritual world. I need more water. Oh my goodness. Okay. Now calling for the collective guides. Only those acting in the highest and best for us in this very moment. Calling forward our collective higher selves. Fully assist us in opening up the Akashic Records. I now open the Akashic Records for those tuning in. I now open the Akashic Records for those tuning in. I now open the Akashic Records for those tuning in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The records are now open. I don't know if you're able to hear the birds in the background. Probably not, because of Zoom's, background noise. Okay, so I'm going to read this very beautiful message to you. It's about an 8-9 minute message. So just stay with me. And if possible, I would encourage you to maybe just hit pause, Go put in your headphones, sit down somewhere quiet so that you can really give it your attention. Okay. And then come back to it as many times as you want, but understand that these words are sacred. Okay. There are doors opening, doors closing. Yes, some right in your face. They close, they slam. Perhaps they even hit you in the nose. This isn't going to be an easy month, for a lot of beginnings and endings will be taking place in all manners of being. You will be experiencing this on a personal level, intimately. You will be seeing things very differently. As all that cracks and breaks around you in the exterior world, your personal life is coming to the forefront. You are beginning to see the parallels between them, beginning to understand how they interact with each other, how they are connected, how one influences the other. While, yes, this is going to be quite a metaphysical month, for what you are going to begin realizing is that you affect everything. Your mind affects everything. Yes, indeed, you are a creator. How many times have you heard this, set it aside, thought no way, or perhaps didn't give it much thought? Perhaps you are someone who's heard it quite a many times. But what if you actually began to see how true it is for you? What if you were indeed given the perspective so that you would be so aware that you begin noticing how even your thoughts come into fruition? For many of you, this is very similar in the ways in which your phones operate. Isn't it so that sometimes when you say something, share something with a friend, perhaps during a conversation, whether you are in person or on the phone, that ads begin popping up for those things? That all of a sudden you begin seeing them in your reality in one way or another. This is a very material representation of the power that you hold within you, of the ways in which your thoughts affect your everyday experience. And this month, why this month? You're going to have so much coming to the forefront and yet given so much space so that you're going to be able to see this relationship, the ways in which it works on deep levels, on shallow levels, how these two dance together, your interior and the exterior. Perhaps this has been shared in other ways, but there's something about the energy of this month that's going to affect you on such a deep and personal level. For as we have been sharing with you for so long, you are here in the here and now for a purpose and a reason. And while you still have so many things piled upon your plate, trying to be all acrobatic, doing it all at one time, you're beginning to realize that it's harder. You can't do it the way you used to. And in fact, indeed, there is a part of you that doesn't want to anymore. This part of you is dead and gone, for it is old paradigm, as they say. But there's still this part of you that's standing on the edge, looking back into all you came from, feeling as if that is a comfortable space before diving off into the continuum of everything that is, of all possibilities, never-ending choices, horizons, ways of being. Yes, indeed, we go too far, but we want you to feel stretched this month. We want you to allow yourself to be open, to truly welcome in all that is here and present for you. For even as the world crumbles around you, you are coming into different union with yourself. And this is going to be quite a month for that. Therefore, we encourage you to really sink into the spiritual practices that bring you home. Yes, indeed, we won't sugarcoat this. You being connected with your spiritual self is what is going to guide you through this time in your very best. It's going to help you see each and every day what is most attuned to you, what you need to be discerning about, and what no longer fits. For again, you are coming into a new time and a new space. And if you do not develop a relationship with self, why, it's going to get so difficult. The spiritual connection is one that you have known since the very beginning of your birthright, Certainly not just in this world, but from the very beginning of your time, your iteration. Yes, indeed, from that very moment, you knew who you were. Yet, of course, you wanted to experience all of the ways in which you could experience yourself far from that, so that you could go on a journey of coming back to that one step at a time. As you turn over one leaf, you find another hint, another clue. As you take one step, you experience something a little bit different. Every bit of your journey counts. You are the one who chooses to judge things as good or bad, see things as moving forward or backwards. But of course, this is not the way it works. Everything serves a purpose. Right now, you are coming to the forefront of you. And this month is about reconnecting with that on so many levels, not just the material level. No, indeed. This is about going so much deeper with yourself so that you can truly begin connecting with all that is readily available for you at any given moment. Because the heat is going to continue rising. The sound is going to get louder and louder. There will be more clashes, more things falling apart. And if you choose to look around at the world and get caught up in all of that, then you will be missing all of that which is within. Let us be very clear that this is not a call to tune out the exterior world, but simply to know that time spent within will be extra beneficial for you this month and the coming months and years preceding it. Understand that these are important times. And the sole reason that you are still upon this planet is because you have a role to play, whether it is for yourself or others. And when it comes to others this month, guard yourself fiercely. Understand the people, places, things that are aligned for you and pull back from those that are not. For you are going to be needed. And you must learn how to begin working with your energy on much deeper levels. But first, there is a reconnection taking place. There is a re-empowerment taking place. Understand that in these times, what is important is your relationship with self, the ways in which you move about the world, that which you choose to create. We invite you to move through this month, eyes wide open, heart wide open. What are you called to? What hears your sound? What connects with your peace? And to discover the path that is meant for you. Oh, just kind of coming on back now. This was such a powerful message to channel through and to get to experience, because there were a lot of different images that were coming up, a lot of feelings and emotions. And it felt like, again, I honestly want to get teary and cry a bit, because we've been going through so much collectively for a while now. You know, the pandemic was an awakening. And quite frankly, we have continued being awakened through that process. I don't know what that time period was for you, but if you know anything about my story, it was truly a death process, me leaving my old world behind and stepping into something brand new. And I feel so much of that energy for March and for what we're stepping into. This month is a reclamation of ourselves, a reconnection to our spiritual selves. When I talk about spirituality, the definition for me is always like coming back to yourself, coming back to your own divinity, reconnecting with who you are at your core, because all of us are divine. All of us are fragments of the divine. We hold wisdom within ourselves. We have access to peace within ourselves. And yet, our everyday 3D world is constantly trying to, well, I shouldn't say it's trying to, because the point is like we come to planet Earth to experience all of the polarity, to have the ability to make decisions, to feel emotions, to navigate relationships. Life is an adventure, but it's a lot, right? We've got to take care of ourselves, our physical bodies. We've got to feed ourselves, put roofs over our head, have a career, have a marriage or relationship if we choose to. There's so pay taxes, right? Like do all of these things. And it requires so much of us. And in all the doing of things, we forget about this epic truth of who we are. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. And it's so easy to forget that. And it's so easy to get caught up in the doing of life. And I got to run here and pick up the kids. And I got to do this and I got to do that. And, it's a lot. But even like what Jesus said in the Bible, the kingdom is within, right? Heaven is within. We are in it, even in this moment. And yet we forget. We forget where we're at. We forget what we're doing. We forget what we're here for. And we forget the enormous amount of impact that we have on our everyday. I was talking with a friend, actually a client yesterday, and she was saying, like, it's not like one person can like make much of a difference. And I was just like, wait, what? Yeah, maybe one person can't go out and stop a war, but maybe they talk to a person who then talks to a lot of people, and those people get together and those people get together, and then they come together and then they make decisions together, and who we are ripples out everywhere around us. We affect everything around us. Your aura is 50 feet. That's massive. That means if you live in an apartment building or downtown, like you are probably often in someone else's energy. They are often in yours. Like we affect things around us. And through the years, I've done so many Akashic, hundreds, thousands of Akashic readings for other people. And especially in the earlier part of my work, I had a lot of people coming in like, what is my purpose? What is my purpose? And quite frankly, for a lot of people, it was about like, you are meant to uplift your world. Like when you walk into a grocery store, you don't realize it, but you lift up people around you just vibrationally being who you are. I had this one, I'll never forget this client who, she was like, what is my purpose? And the guy started showing me this and I started laughing and I was like, this is so interesting because they're telling me that your purpose is to laugh. And then she started laughing. And as soon as I heard her laugh, my whole body came alive because it was such a beautiful laugh. And I was just like, immediately I knew. And she was like, I'm a comedian. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like she laughs and she had the kind of laugh that when you hear it, like it makes you laugh, and good gosh, don't we need those people? Aren't those people like healers? Because we need to laugh, right? But we have really, we've been going through a lot and we've gotten disconnected from ourselves. Some of us have navigated it better than others. And, it kind of depends. Maybe you've got kids at home, you've got a partner who requires a lot of your time, you've got a really intense career. It's so easy for us to get disconnected to ourselves. And this month is about coming back. I don't see it necessarily as this like fully internal month, but considering we're kicking it off in a Mercury retrograde, and Mercury is going to be in Pisces for the entirety of March, which Pisces is definitely a spiritual, like internal type of energy, and that's going to be governing our communication. And so, and then this is going to be like, there's all the threads and ways in which this is going to be affecting us, plus the other transits that are taking place. My point just being is that, man, this month is a massive invitation for you to reconnect to your spiritual practices, to your spiritual self. The one of the beautiful blessings of February for me was like, boom, like really, really getting back into my morning time. My morning time used to straight up be a non-negotiable for me for years. And the pandemic kind of threw that all up in arms because, prior to that, it was me ensuring I had my morning time so that I could go out into the world. I called it my like getting fit for public consumption time. But I would pray and I would journal and I would exercise and, do the things that I need to do to be my best self. And then I would go out to the world. But of course, in the pandemic, it was like I was home all the time. So like I stopped being as rigid about things, and not even rigid, but I just, that commitment, that devotion just broke up because I was freaking by myself all the time. And it was like, well, what is the point? And it's so fascinating to me. I had one of my mentorship clients just reach out this morning, and she was like, hey, so the gratitude practice that I've been doing and the tapping, like, I don't really think I need to keep doing them because I'm feeling good. And I'm like, okay, so, well, first of all, if that's what feels right to you, then honor that. But at the second time, like, we don't necessarily do this just to feel good in the moment. We do this to build ourselves up for difficult times. Like we're being proactive about taking care of ourselves so that we can handle difficult times. And February was such an intense month for me. And I believe the collective, absolutely. It was almost like my nose was like shoved back into my morning time. And I'm still someone to this day who I primarily work at home simply because of the space that I need to have when I meet with my clients. Going out and being at a co-working place just doesn't work anymore like it did when I had my marketing agency. It's very different now. And so there is this aspect of me that's like, well, kind of what's the point, and I usually kind of always do at least one thing in the morning, but there are multiple things that I need to do to be my best self. And I have really been digging back into those because they are needed and necessary to be my best self right now. And certainly to show up and hold the space that I need to hold for others. And I encourage you to dig into your own, to listen to what the Akasha is talking about. Like, this is a month for you. This is a reconnecting to who you are. This is a remembrance. Honestly, like I get teary because I feel this celebration around this because it is a coming home. And make no mistake about it, this is going to be a difficult month, like they said very directly. We're going to go through death and rebirth processes this month, I think quite profoundly on a personal level. And what that may mean is that all of a sudden you realize a relationship that you've been holding on to for years is done. Or perhaps you realize that the job you thought you loved, it's done. It's run its course. You're ready to move on, or you just want something different. This could show up in so many different ways. But all of that is meant to bring us back to self, meant to remind us of the importance of our connection to self, right? I loved, when they talked about like, you are a creator, I loved the example that they gave to this, because I feel like, yes, in the spiritual community, we hear that all the time. I say it all the time as well. And it's so powerful and it's very profound. But when we hear things, a lot of times we start negating them, right? We are like, okay. But this very real world example, right? Of like, and everyone I would imagine has experienced this. Like you're talking to a friend on the phone about a beauty product, or maybe you're having coffee with a friend and you're talking about a beauty product, and all of a sudden you start getting coupons for said beauty product, right? And you're like, oh, okay. This is like coming into my world when it was just kind of something I was talking about. Like, this is our power as creators. We are so powerful. We have no idea. Your words are spells. And I don't mean that in some cute little hunky dory way. I mean that in a very real way. And that's both very cool and also very scary, because think about when you are caught up in victim mentality or scarcity, or, you're angry. Like, what are you saying? Because understand that your words create, they are spells. And yet also, when you are speaking life into yourself, speaking life into your work, into your relationship, into your home, those are spells you are creating with your words. And our thoughts, they also create. And our actions, they absolutely create, And this month, like they said, it's going to be a metaphysical month. Like, we're going to get to see this in real time. And so by the time you move through March, you're going to be like, whoa, you might be feeling a little bit more powerful. You might be feeling a little bit stronger. You might be feeling a little bit more magical. And how beautiful would that be, right? But the energy of March and what it's offering us is this ability to come back within, right? And to reconnect to what is so difficult to connect to, especially in these times while everything is falling apart and breaking apart around us, right? I loved what they said. We have been sharing with you for so long. You are here in the here and now for a purpose and a reason. And while you still have so many things piled on your plate, trying to be all acrobatic, which made me laugh, doing it all at one time, you are beginning to realize that it's harder, right? You can't do it the way you used to. And in fact, indeed, there is a part of you that doesn't want to anymore. And that is the power, right? They said, this part of you is dead and gone. And yes, of course, there's still that part of you that's old, that remembers those old ways of being and wants to run back and wants to do it and wants to make it happen. And, wants to like go get cozy back in those old ways of being, but they're gone. They're gone. And so if we spend the time going back, we're going to go back and we're going to be like, wait a minute, this doesn't feel the same. It doesn't look the same, or it's not like, I don't know what's happening here. We have evolved. February took us through a huge portal, and we're still a bit in the middle of it as we kind of kick things off with March. But this eclipse portal, massive, absolutely massive. And, the after effects of a eclipse portal, I mean, like, not only will this be unfolding for like the next 6 months, but you will be seeing parts of what came through next year and in the years to come. And then you'll be putting those pieces together and remembering for yourself, right? The Akasha said, therefore, we encourage you to really sink into the spiritual practices that bring you home, right? Because we won't sugarcoat this. You being connected with your spiritual self is what is going to guide you through this time in your best. They're saying it right, direct. Here you go. And look, when it comes to spiritual practices, right? It's not just meditating. It's also eating nourishing food. It's exercising your body. It's expanding your mind, man. It's laughing. It's being around people who lift you up and help you to have a great time in the midst of a hard time. Life is spiritual, but when we attach some intention to it, ooh, it gets pretty incredible. So, what is it that brings you home? What is it that helps you to reconnect with who you are? That peace, that stillness that is within. That might be breath work. It may be going for a run. It may be having a super hot night of sex. Whatever the case may be, I invite you to do more of it, to feel into those corners and grooves this month, because that's what this month is for. It truly is a reconnection. Natasha said, this spiritual connection is one that you have known since the very beginning of your birthright. Certainly not just in this world, but from the very beginning of your time, your iteration. Yes, indeed, from that very moment, you knew who you were. Yet, of course, you wanted to experience all of the ways in which you could experience yourself far from that, so that you could go on a journey of coming back to that one step at a time. As you turn over one leaf, you find another hint, another clue. As you take one step, you experience something a little different. Every bit of your journey counts. We are the ones, right, who judge things as good or bad, right, wrong. We're learning in these times to kick those things aside and to have deep appreciation for the challenges in life as well as the celebrations in life. They all serve a purpose. They're all equally beneficial. And I feel like if you actually sit down and think about your life, you will see that it's actually the challenging times who have helped you become who you are, who have helped you become and reconnect to this deeply profound heart and truth of who you are. My work in my mentorship containers is about that reconnection, about seeing things from that level. It's huge. It's so deep and it's so powerful, because when you begin to experience yourself from that perspective, everything shifts. You start to realize how in control you are of your experiences. You start to have trust in your ability to make decisions, to move through challenging times. You start to take life a lot less seriously. And again, in these times, we need that, right? Because humanity has a deep shadow to it. There's horror in our humanity, and we are seeing that right now. And it's hard. But the beautiful part about humanity is that it is also so, so good. And so as we are moving through these journeys on our own, when we do our work, when we show up for ourselves, when we initiate our own spiritual practice, then we can help our brothers and sisters and all of our beautiful people on this planet along the way, because we are all here in this together. And I just want to read this last part because it's so beautiful. There is a reconnection taking place. There is a re-empowerment taking place. Understand that in these times, what is important is your relationship with self, the ways in which you move about the world, that which you choose to create. We invite you to move through this month, eyes wide open, heart wide open. What are you called to? What hears your sound? What connects with your peace? And to discover the path that is meant for you. The Akashic Records have been asking us in our monthly forecast since early part of 2025, who do you want to be in these times? And that is both on a personal and on a collective level. We're deciding that in our own nations. We're deciding that perhaps within our family. We're deciding that with our own selves. Who do you want to be in these times? And March, baby, is here to help you get clear on that. Start building that solid foundation. Start really, really investing in yourself and developing a beautiful relationship. And I pray and I hope that you accept this initiation, that you take it on, because get ready. We got a lot left in 2026, 2027, 2028, the many years to come. And make no mistake about it, we need you at your very best. Thank you so much for being here today and for tuning in and sharing your time with me. I'm sending you so much love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please share this with someone who could benefit from it. If you are listening to podcasts, leave a rating, review on iTunes, Spotify. Help me to get this out to the people, to the people. I love y'all so much. Truly, I do. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Don't forget, when we invest in ourselves, the world benefits. Until next time.